all of it seems to be coming from a place of the person that's suffering is a victim of something on the outside. And I know that made enormous sense to me for years and years and years. So I can understand why everyone's caught up with that, right? I had numerous labels and they all seemed very real. And I was either coping with them or I was batting them away or I was pretending they didn't exist or I was forgetting about them, or for a moment I'd have a kind of a moment when I didn't think that that was, you know, that applied to me anymore. And then 3 days later I'd have a thought and then I was suddenly back in that place again. So it fascinates me now that I can look at that stuff and just see it as kind of the flow of my life. It's just the flow of my life. In the innocence of me thinking that it was important to remember and to try and dig down into the whys and the wherefores, you know, why I'd thought like that, why I'd said that thing, why I'd suffered like that. It made perfect sense. And I'm fascinated to think that when I look at other people, that could have made perfect sense until the day I died. You know? I could have just carried on thinking that the answer was there somewhere and I just needed to look a bit harder, just needed to do a bit more work. My heart bleeds a little bit for people that are in that situation. But it's so much easier than that, and it would be so lovely to be able to find a way of finding a big audience for a simple message in a way that, you know, they can catch something. Because for me, my experience, and I'd love to hear about other people's experiences as well. My experience was I looked in this direction for a moment and I saw that what I thought was absolutely solid, which was my interpretation of who I was, something I heard that first time just picked at the corner of it. And it was like when you, and I'm embarrassed to say that I did this with an old iPhone at one point, when you look at the screen and you think, oh, this is the screen, and you know, you're seeing everything in the screen and you're playing with your phone, and then you realize after 2 weeks it's still got the protective thing on it. And it wasn't until there was a little bubble in the corner I thought, oh no, I've messed it up. What have I done? And then I realized I hadn't messed it up. It was just, you know, I hadn't noticed that it had this screen on it. And then I was really worried about picking the rest of it off because I thought I was ruining it. Until this thing came off, and then I realized that it was a lot easier to use without the screen on it. And a lot easier to see for someone of my age as well. And that's what it feels like to me, is that until you know that there's a protective screen, then that's just what it looks like. That's what you've got in your hands. It's not until someone picks up the corner and you start to see a bubble, and then you start to question whether your reality is really what you thought it was, whether it might be something different. So I think that's all any of us need. It's just that first bubble in the screen to wonder what might be going on. And then from there, we can do our own investigations, right? And as many of you know, that my investigations were like, I was like a ferret. I mean, as soon as I realized that there was something else there, then I just didn't let it go for months and months and months. And I'm very grateful for that work. Because now I can talk about all of that experience, and I can express all of that experience of the hardships of, you know, mental health growing up, all of the things that happened and the way I felt about them and all of those kind of things, with compassion for myself, compassion for the innocence of who I was then, you know, compassion for the innocence of what I thought was going on in my brain. And that self-compassion really has been the answer to all of my questions.